Hi, and welcome to my kitchen. I haven't been around for about a week, but I'm really sorry about that. I had some other things that I had to take care of, and I'm ready to cook again. Went to the grocery store and had no idea what I wanted to make for dinner. Kind of had an idea of what I wanted to show you all, but that's gonna wait now to the next one because I ran into something that was like a really old friend of mine and something that I crave on a regular basis, and that is polenta. Well, can't find any polenta here, but I did find some fine ground meal. So I cooked up a batch, 2 cups of water to a half a cup of this fine grind cornmeal, and got a really nice polenta. So this one is gonna dry up, and I might fry this and do something else with it later. But actually, what I do like with polenta is to put it in a dish and serve it with some of my extra special Basil marinara and top that with some cheese. So that's what we're really gonna do today. So here's what we have. And this shout out goes out to my niece Sandra, who asked me to do my Basil marinara. All right, so here we've got, this is usually what I use, a big can of the 7-Eleven ground tomatoes. We used to always use this in the restaurant, and you know, we'd use the whole case, which was 6 of these to make our big pot of sauce. But in all actuality, it's really only 4 cans of the San Marzano tomatoes. But I'm only gonna do 2 cans because I don't really need all this sauce for me. So I'm doing 2 cans. 2 cans, small cans, a half of this large jumbo onion. So 1 medium onion would be fine. 3 cloves of garlic. Some of my mixed seasoning, which is my Italian blend, which I will talk about in another time. But really it's a combination of basil, rosemary, marjoram, oregano, thyme, some salt, and some ground pepper. And of course, some freshly, well, mine is fresh cut basil because I have a little basil plant back there in the corner. And that's all you need for my, and some olive oil, obviously. Now, this is a little quirky thing of mine. These are my garbage bags. You know, I tie them in cute little knots. I just do this little silly thing. I roll them up, I tie them in a knot, and I stick them in my cans. So I have my garbage bags available or my trash bags available whenever I need them. I don't usually get too many of these because I always bring my recycled bags with me. But guess what? Can't bring your bags to the grocery store anymore during COVID-19. So I'm back to getting bags. So I'm back to putting them in my 7-Eleven cans. So I'm going to get started shortly. We're going to start. I'm going to do some mise en place, and I'll be back and show you where I'm at. Okay, so here we go. Next step. I am starting to fine grind my garlic and my onions. Okay, so why am I doing this? Because I'm going to have a really smooth sauce for this polenta. I don't want it to be real chunky, and there's something about just getting it all just nice and thick and smooth. So I'm gonna finish. I've got 3 nice sized pieces of garlic in here, half of that big onion that I had, and I'm grinding them out. So while that is I'm gonna also put on my range and get a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of my pan. Probably like 2 tablespoons. You don't need a whole heck of a lot. There's gonna be a lot of liquid in here. We made so much sauce at the restaurant that this is the only way to do it. We would throw, you know, we'd make 6 of those cans. We'd throw 6 of those big onions in there. I don't know, 3 garlic cubes time, so probably 16 heads of garlic. And we would just do it quickly like this with this. But not this little guy, we had a big Robo-Cool. Okay, let's put this in here. Very easy, very quick. want to get this, a little bit of the aromatics coming together with this. I'm not really trying to cook this onion or this garlic. You can already hear it sizzling. Just want it to come together. Oops. All right. Okay, in the meantime, this is going to have to cook for about an hour. And I did find out something very interesting. I can do this whole thing in my Instapot, and it takes about, I don't know, 30 minutes from start to finish to cook it in the Instapot. I am only going to cook this for about an hour because I want to have dinner tonight. Usually I'll cook it for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours if it's on the stove low. But in the Instapot, 30 minutes is perfection. Amazing. By the way, my basil does not go in until the very end, so don't be surprised when I don't put it in. That goes in about the last 15 minutes before it's finished. And the reason for that is I want to get those full flavors. I want to get all the oils from the basil, and I want to be able to taste the basil in my marinara. So I like to flavor my food. All right, this is starting to sound like it's where I want it to be. It is boiling. And like I said, boiling is okay because I'm not trying to saute it. I just want it to be light and creamy. Let me see if I can pick this up and show it to you. Not too hot yet. Okay, so here we go. We've got a light, creamy texture going on in here. All right? All right, and lots of garlics, lots of smells. Okay, I'm gonna throw in my my tomatoes. 1 can. And a second can. All right, the first one I did not blend, but I think I'm gonna blend this one just a little bit. These are whole tomatoes. Now I could do this with my immersion blender too later, but I think I'll just do this. See how this works. Might be surprised, I might like this too. All right. Great, awesome. All right, nice and done. And I'm gonna rinse it out. A little extra water in there is not gonna hurt it because it's gonna cook down. All right, and I put a little bit of water in this one. Okay, all right. So basically you have everything in the pan except for your seasoning. So now we're gonna season. I'm gonna put in 2 bay leaves. All right, got those in. Going to take and cover the top with some salt. So I go back and forth, make sure I get the whole top with salt. You're gonna ask me how I measure. I don't know, maybe it's 2 teaspoons. All right, do the same thing, not as heavy with the pepper. A little lighter with the pepper. All right, then I'm gonna add I had a piece of basil that was drying, but I am gonna just throw that piece in. And then I'm gonna add my seasonings the same way, all over the top. Just maybe a little bit more. All right, so it's covered. I'm gonna give it a good stir. And I'm gonna let it cook up now, I don't know, for about half an hour, and I'll check it. I'm gonna cover it. And we'll see how it does every half an hour. I'm sure it's gonna have to go much longer than that. So we'll see you soon. It's just starting to come to a little bit of a boil. So before it gets boiling, I'm gonna turn it down to simmer. And that's how we look. At this point, I usually give my sauce a good stir. And I check to see where the line is, you know, where we are. And I'll leave the cover off now for a little bit. And see how much evaporation we got? Look, I'm even using my bowl, my tomatoes there for my spoon. Such an Italian thing to do. Okay, so I'm back and I've put the cover on my sauce because it was just popping all over the stove. It's always fun to clean a stove, but I figured a little bit of cover on there. Plus it was starting to evaporate a little bit. Remember I talked to you about checking where your starting line was? So it's gone down about, I don't know, about a ½ inch. I'm gonna take this off for right now because I want to see if my sauce is done. How many of you cut a piece of bread, oh, wrong knife, cut a piece of bread to test it? Well, I know I did. Growing up, my grandmother would have sauce cooking in the kitchen. Next thing I knew, I was grabbing a piece of her bread, it was coming over, and I was just making sure it was good enough for us to eat. Always was. Let's try this one. Oh yeah, definitely good enough to eat. Yummy. Okay, in the meantime, I have put the water on for the polenta. There's 2 cups of water in here. Get it on super boil. 2 cups of water in here. I've got a ½ cup of the polenta, and we'll start cooking that up. I wanted to show you about my other polenta. So I made the other polenta earlier. I put some seasonings in it. You know, I love this Trader Joe's Mushroom and Company multi-purpose umami. So, you know, the 6th taste. Anyway, I put this in there with a little bit of fresh rosemary. And what I'll do with this, I mean, it'll just pop out of here, you know, and just cut it. And I'll probably cut it in strips and I'll just put it on a griller. Or I'll just put it in a fry pan and just fry it up. Something like a nice little appetizer with some roasted peppers on it, or just plain and just eat it. Okay, in the meantime, while that's still boiling, I'm gonna take, oh, it's getting to a boil. I'm gonna get my basil ready. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm sure some of you have heard this term, maybe not. If not, you're learning a new term. It is called chiffonade. So it's a ribbon-like cutting. So we're gonna put all these in here. I'm even gonna put the little guys in here. And I'm gonna roll this up. And no, I was not one of those when I was young. However, I have rolled cigars. That's another story of my lifetime. All right, you roll this up nice and tight. You cut it on an angle. And chiffonade means ribbon. And I'll show you why it looks like a ribbon when it's done. So I'm getting all my cuts here. And there you go, all the way to the end. So what you have is ribbons, little ribbon cuts, all right? So this is gonna go right on top of my marinara sauce right now, because it is just about done. Been cooking now for about an hour. Just stir that up. In the meantime, hope you can see me. I'm coming over here to my, my boiling water. I'm going to lower it because I don't really want to get burnt right now. And it's not going to take very long to do this. It's actually going to go very quickly. Turn this on a bit. This is my trusty little whisk. Everybody laughed at me while I was in culinary school with my little whisk, but I love it. I use it for sauces. I use it for things like this. I'm going to pour in the boiling water. I'm going to pour this cornmeal in very slowly, and I'm going to keep whisking. There you go. And I'm going to keep whisking and keep whisking and keep whisking. Now it's very watery and soupy right now, but honestly it does not take long before it is the thickness that you want to put it on a plate. And it's almost going to go all the way down now. Just let that cook. It's really getting thick already. Should I say probably the thickness of custard, you know, pudding. All right, just let it sit a second here. I'm gonna turn this off. Does not take long. It's gonna continue cooking just because the carryover cooking and because the stove is hot. I'm gonna grab one thing, and that is cheese. I'm gonna finish my topping with cheese. So I'm gonna get myself a plate. I'm gonna get myself, let's see what we wanna scoop this with. Probably, and I'm gonna get myself out a fork. We're gonna grab it with a spoon. We're gonna put it right here in the middle. And like you saw before, the polenta will harden up, so it holds its own. Nice, right there in the middle. And I'm gonna grab myself some sauce, stir it up. Make sure I get some of this total yumminess on here. Oh my goodness, there you go. And then I'm gonna get some cheese on that. And oh my, look at this. We have polenta. And I'm going to have a bite with all my cheeses and my yum. Yeah, you could eat this with a spoon. You could eat it with a fork. I'm just gonna keep eating it because it's so yummy. Now, you could turn this definitely, well, too hot for me. You could definitely turn this into a meat dish by giving a meat sauce, shredding some chicken on top of it or some beef or something. It's all really up to you. Even some sausage would be nice, but I like the vegetarian style. I like it just like this. So again, thank you for coming to my house. Thank you for letting me into your home. You guys are awesome. You know, stick in there. We've got a few more weeks of this or whatever it is. Some of you might be out on the first phase, but please be safe. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. Love you. Have a blessed day. See you soon.